It's Pastor Phil and impacted my life, man, in so many ways. From his teaching, from being able to sit down and being mentored by him one on one. He's got a way about himself of when he gets you in a room and you could be totally right and you're totally justified in how you're angry and how this person, messed you over, or you feel like you're right and this person's wrong. He always has a way to turn it around and show you the aspect that you would have never saw, and show you your part in the situation that you have that you may not even known you had. That's one of the greatest things about Pastor Phil. A lot of his teachings, man. I mean, every weekend it was so impactful, and just the way he would bring something out, and the analogies that he would come to the table with, and even using his own experiences to use an analogy in the Word. It was amazing. It was just a way to show you on how to relate in it today's time. Pastor Phil's one of those guys, man, that because I've known people that, they preach what they preach, but some people just don't believe what they preach. And man, Pastor Phil, he believes, and he's experienced it firsthand, a lot of the stuff that he preaches. And another thing I like about Pastor Phil is when he preaches a message, he knows that he's going to be tested. Whatever he's preaching, he'll tell you, whatever he's preaching, he's either walked through it or he's going to be walking through it. And he knows it. And just so many things. But how I met Pastor Phil is so impactful to me, because I met Pastor Phil at an event, and I just was genuine, talked to him for about a half hour. I was looking for a new church, me and my wife, our soon-to-be wife at the time, and talked to him for about a half an hour at this event. And he'd probably seen a whole bunch of people throughout the weekend at this big event that was going on that the church was holding. And I didn't go visit his church for like 2 weeks later, but I finally visited his church. And after the sermon, and I knew once I heard his sermon, I said, man, this is where I want to be. And I'll tell you right now, as soon as I walked out, he was standing there to greet everybody, and he said, "Hey, Tony, how are you doing?" And it was just so cool to see how he knew my name, he remembered my name, and it was just so personal. And went out to lunch with him about a couple weeks later and sat down, and he wanted to hear some of my testimonial, and he shared some of his, and we just connected and bonded right away. But I love Pastor Phil. I love being taught by him. I love being mentored by him. And if anybody ever has a chance to have him at an event or speak at a church or anywhere, if you are blessed to hear what he's got to say, man, he will impact that room like no other. And I'm blessed to be able to call him friend, and really basically just call him family, as he opens up his home to me. He opens up his life to me. And very powerful, man. I got a lot of his CDs on tape, and I give them away to people, and listen to them here and there all the time, because you can always get something more out of it. So really blessed and highly favored to be able to be introduced to Phil and his family, and I thank God for him all the time. So highly recommend Phil for any event that you have. Thank you for Phil, for all you've done in your family, for opening your doors to me and let me be in underneath your teaching.